Hey there citizen, this is Imperator42 and today I want to talk to you about cargo hauling and how to use the biggest cargo hauler currently in game, the Hull C. We will do a single cargo run, I'll talk to you about the do's and don'ts, and hopefully by the end of the video you will want to start hauling cargo. Let's jump right into it. So our journey today is gonna start in Paigini Point. What we are going to do is we're going to do a single cargo run between Paigini and Everest Harbor above Hurston. The first thing you need to do is you need to get to the admin center, which is located on the Galleria level, and then open the commodity shop kiosk. Here you need to first ensure you select your Hull C ship, find the commodity that you wish to trade. In our case this is the processed food. Buy it, and you can see that a full load will cost 720k or close to it, and then you will see that what we need to do now is go and pick up our cargo from the cargo deck. We're gonna speed things up a little bit here, and what I can tell you right now is that I am using the UEX Corp tool, which was developed and you can find in the description below with a link to find the best trade routes that I want so I can use my Hull C to its full capacity. So I will spawn my ship now, and this is actually when we're gonna encounter our first bug, which is that the Hull C ship is spawned, however the docking port is not extended. We're gonna use a bit of magic here, and I'm gonna teleport in a way outside of the window, but what I actually did here is I actually went into one of the landing pads available on the space station, which have an exterior airlock that I can walk through. I stole a ship, yeah, always a good thing you can do in Star Citizen if you don't get caught. This is the lovely Crusader spirit that you see right there, and I flew towards the docking tube so I can get into my ship and start hauling the processing food to Everest, where apparently there's a bunch of hungry people who need it. So we're gonna enter through the airlock and we're gonna go into the cockpits. Now it's very important when you get to the point that you're undocking from a space station that you follow a specific sequence of activities so that you can ensure that you don't encounter any bugs. So what I'm doing right now is I'm getting into the pilot seat, and the first thing I'm going to do is power up my ship, of course. Keep in mind you should not request permission to undock before powering up your ship, because this will most likely cause a bug. Then I'm gonna go into my communication panel and I will call ATC so that they can undock my ship. All good there. We need to wait a few seconds so the ship can undock. I think it takes about 5, 10 to 15 seconds maybe, so your ship can successfully undock from the docking port. After that we need to get ourselves a cargo deck so that we can start loading the cargo onto the Hull C. Now you can see we've undocked the ship now, which is great. We're gonna get back into the cockpit in a moment, and we need to now request a cargo deck. Now usually you would need to go into the communication panel again and call the cargo deck. I usually wanna wait a few seconds because when I undock usually I get assigned the cargo deck automatically, and yeah, this is what happened. However, if you don't get it assigned automatically, just go into the communication panel as I'm showing you here and hail the cargo deck, and you will get one of these navigation markers so you can go in and start loading up your cargo. In the meantime, I'm gonna extend the spindles on the Hull C because it's very important that you extend them, otherwise cargo cannot be loaded to your ship. Naturally, there's nowhere to store it. After all, this is a physicalized cargo process, right? So what we're doing right now is we're getting to the cargo deck. I speed things up a little bit, and what I like to do is I turn off my engines so I can ensure that the ship is not going to move and I'm not going to interrupt the sequence. You can see that a timer will appear on the top, which will start counting down how much time it needs to automatically load my ship right now. So yeah, we need to wait that time, ensure we don't move, and using a little bit of magic here again, we're gonna speed things up, and we can see that the cargo timer has already counted down. We're going to take a look. You can see that while the cargo is loading, every single one of the containers is physically going to appear on one of the spindles. Don't fret if for some reason the cargo timer expires, ends I mean, and some of the cargo boxes are missing, the containers are missing. They're gonna spawn while you're traveling. It's just a rendering thing, I assume. We're going to use some time of the last few seconds left to set up our course. So in this case, we're going to be holding this shipment to Everest Harbor. We're going to set a route. We can see it's about 3,000 units of fuel are going to be needed. And as soon as the timer runs down, it's very important to get out of there as quickly as possible, because as you can hear in one moment, our ship may get impounded. So we're going to engage our quantum drive right now. We're going to head over to Hurston. Now I recommend equipping your HC with the quickest hyperdrive, quantum drive available, which I think was the TS-01. It has sufficient fuel capacity and it will be able to cover the distance very quickly, and I think it takes about 4 maybe 5 minutes max to get from our corp to Hurston, so we can get to Everest Harbor. So what we're gonna do now, you can see we're jumping into quantum travel. I inadvertently exited it, but you know, all of us have done it in Star Citizen. So yeah, we're gonna travel around a bit. We can see that the whole scene now looks absolutely magnificent, you know, with all of that cargo on there. It's a really great feeling to see the ship filled out, and it causes a lot of pressure not to get a 30k or a crash, which might lead us to lose the cargo. So yeah, it's a very fun activity, to be honest, very relaxing, and as soon as you ensure that you have workarounds to all of the common bugs, it's actually very pleasant and easy to do in general. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna do a bit of magic again. We're gonna head to Hurston very quickly. We've pretty much teleported. I don't think CIG though will implement that feature anytime soon into the game, because it will make traveling and you know, doing ambushes with quantum with quantum devices very tricky. So we're gonna head over to Hurston right now, and we're gonna need to set a course again to Everest Harbor. Again, here I'm gonna speed things up a little bit so we don't waste time on needless travel activities. So once we get to Everest Harbor, you can do one of two things. Now, the slower approach is for you to request a docking request, so you can dock your ship, store it, go to the admin terminal, sell your items, and then spawn the ship and go to the cargo deck to unload. But what I actually prefer to do is I go to one of the landing pads which have exterior airlock access, as you'll see in a moment. It's very easy to remember where they are on each of the stations as you go to them at least once. So I'm gonna park my ship right next to it. Just you need to be very careful not to stop your ship like on or above the landing pad itself, because then your ship might get impounded, which, you know, in a way would mean that you need to retrieve it again, and yeah, it's just not a waste a bit of time, you know. So yeah, we're gonna park right next to the landing pad. We're gonna exit our seat, and we will now need to go and sell our cargo again at the admin office kiosk. So it's one thing that I would like to recommend here, as you'll see in a moment, is that when you exit your ship, doesn't matter if you're in space, doesn't matter if you're on a planet, or in our case next to a landing pad, I always recommend get out of the ship, turn around and close the door, because someone might get into your HC, and although they will not be able to sell your commodities that you have because they're going to be stolen, in this case you will lose everything. So in our case that was about 700k. Now remember which path you've used to dock, because it will not appear on your HUD, as you might have noticed over there, and you need to get back to that path later on. So here we are at the admin office. We need to now sell our commodities. We're gonna go into the terminal, go to the sell option, select our HC, and you can now select and sell all of the commodities you have. You see, we can sell them for 980k, which is about 260k profit. Usually at this point the terminals bug out, it will not do anything else. You need to get back a bit, wait for a couple of seconds, you can admire your really nice looking red armor and get back into the cargo terminal. This step is not necessity, however I like to get back to the terminal and just ensure that this thing here appears, and I now know I need to get to the cargo deck so I can sell my ship. My commodities, I mean. So we're gonna speed things up a little bit, we're gonna get back to our landing pad, we're just gonna quickly admire our Hull C ship, and then we're gonna get in and try to get a cargo deck assigned. Now keep in mind, if you've used this approach, so this quick approach to not land but go to a landing pad, now you might encounter a couple of, I wouldn't really say bugs, just some things you need to be aware of. So now you would need to call the cargo deck ATC so you can go and sell and unload your cargo. But what usually happens, as you'll see in a moment, is that I have cargo services and nothing happens. So yeah, just this screen remains blank. So what you need to do here is actually you need to end the com and request clearance to recall ATC of the space station and ask to dock, in which case you'll be assigned a docking port. Don't worry, you're not gonna land, you're just gonna see the HUD about the UI about docking, then you'll need to go in again, hail ATC again so that they can basically give you clearance to undock. They're a bit silly, they don't know you haven't docked, but anyways, we're gonna let that slip. So now that we've done that, the system thinks that we've pretty much undocked, so we're gonna try to hail cargo services again, and ideally now we should get a cargo area assigned so that we can go and unload our cargo. That doesn't always happen, so what you need to do is either wait for a few seconds so you can see if this will happen automatically, or just do that whole exercise with calling the ATC of the space station to dock, calling them again to undock, and then calling cargo services again until it works. I found that it's it's not that buggy. Usually takes a couple of minutes, or not a couple of minutes but a couple of tries to get this sorted out, but at the end the result is going to be the same and you're going to get assigned to a cargo area. We're going to wait a little bit so that we can ensure that the cargo area is assigned.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Approved to dock.
We're gonna retrace some of those activities we did so we can try and get this assigned as soon as possible.
Landing gear up.
You are clear to launch.
Landing gear down.
You are clear to launch.
And there you have it, boys and girls, we have a cargo area assigned. So we're gonna go there, no need to speed things up because we're very close to it, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna go in, we're gonna shut off our engines, and we are gonna wait for the unloading procedure to happen. Now you might ask yourself, when do I get paid? That's a very good question. Now it's I haven't encountered any bugs with commodities not being paid for, so right now we need to wait for the full unloading process to finish, and as soon as it finishes, all of the money will be transferred, all of the Alpha UEC credits will be transferred to your Mobiglass. Now we're gonna wait a little bit, we're gonna do a bit of magic because nobody really wants to wait 4.5 minutes for us to unload. And now that we've done that bit of magic, we can see that only a few seconds remain. Now I'm gonna open my Mobiglass to show you that right now I have 2.6 million in my account. We sold it for about 980k, so as soon as the cargo transfer finishes, we should have the money there. Alright, we are done. It's green, we open the Mobiglass, we have our money there. And that was it. Fairly easy, we worked through all of the bugs, and it's actually a really smooth experience once you get used to it. I actually really enjoy traveling in my Hull C and cargo hauling. It's very relaxing activity, and I would recommend it to anyone because in the current set of the game we have 30k recovery and very few crashes. Alright citizen, now you know how to cargo hold using the hull C. If you enjoyed my first video, you can like and subscribe for more instructional videos in the future. If you are yet to get into Star Citizen, please use my referral code so you can get some extra items at the beginning and support my channel for free. What has been your cargo hauling experience so far? Leave a comment and share your thoughts. See you in the verse, citizen.